They say coffee is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter if you're a CEO or a student, everyone needs that morning spark. But for Julian Thorne, coffee wasn't just a drink, it was a status symbol. And people? Well, to him, people were ranked by the price of their shoes. He looked at Maya, a barista at a crumbling corner shop, and saw someone beneath him. He invited her to a professional competition as a joke. He wanted to humiliate her. But he forgot one thing: you can fake a suit, you can fake a smile, but you cannot fake the poor. This is the story of how a billionaire learned that talent doesn't care about your bank account. Please take a second to click that subscribe button and hit the like if you enjoy stories where arrogance gets exactly what it deserves. The bell above the door of the daily grind jingled weakly, a sound that usually signaled the arrival of a tired nurse or a rushing student. But today, it announced a shark. Julian Thorne walked in. The air in the shop seemed to change, the scent of roasted hazelnuts and stale rain suddenly overpowered by expensive cologne, sandalwood and money. He wore a navy bespoke suit that cost more than the espresso machine sitting on the counter. He didn't look at the menu. He looked at his watch. Behind the counter stood Maya. She was in her early 30s, her apron dusted with cocoa powder, her hair tied back in a practical, no-nonsense bun. She was wiping the steam wand with a microfiber cloth, her movements rhythmic and precise. "Help you?" Maya asked, her voice calm. Julian looked around the shop with a sneer. He took in the chipped paint on the walls, the mismatched furniture, and the flickering fluorescent light. "I certainly hope so," he said, removing his sunglasses indoors. "I'm in a rush, and my usual spot is closed for renovations. I need a core to do. Single origin if you have it, though I doubt it. And please, try to texturize the milk properly. I don't want warm bubbly soap." Maya paused. She looked him in the eye. There was no anger, just a deep, still patience. "We have a washed Ethiopian Yirgacheffe on the grinder. Floral notes, tea-like body. That work?" Julian raised an eyebrow. He hadn't expected her to know the region, let alone the flavor profile. "Fine. Make it." He stood by the counter, tapping his Italian leather loafers. He watched her like a hawk. He watched her level the grounds in the portafilter. He watched her tamp. "You're tamping too hard," Julian critiqued loudly. "You're choking the machine. It's going to be bitter." Maya didn't flinch. She knew the humidity today was 85%. She knew the beans had been roasted 7 days ago. She knew that 30 pounds of pressure was exactly what this shot needed to extract the jasmine notes without the sourness. She engaged the group head. Hiss. Drip. Flow. The espresso poured out like warm honey, thick and tiger-striped with crema. Julian scoffed. "Took you long enough." Maya moved to the milk. She purged the wand. She positioned the pitcher. She didn't just heat the milk, she stretched it. She introduced air for mere seconds, then created a vortex, spinning the liquid until it looked like wet white paint. She poured. It was a quick movement. A flick of the wrist. She slid the cup across the counter. Julian looked down. He expected a white blob. Instead, staring back at him was a perfect heart, but not just a heart, it was framed by a delicate wreath of leaves, perfectly symmetrical, the contrast between the white foam and the dark crema sharp and high definition. He picked it up, not wanting to show he was impressed. He took a sip. The texture was like silk. The flavor was bright, clean, and sweet. It was perfect. But Julian Thorne couldn't admit that. His ego was too large to fit in the small room. "It's serviceable," he lied, setting the cup down with a clatter. "The foam is a bit stiff. But for a place like this? I suppose it's the best you can do." Maya wiped the counter. Glad it was serviceable. Julian pulled a sleek, gold-embossed card from his pocket. "You know, you have the basics down. But you lack refinement. I'm the primary sponsor for the A Prestige Pour-Over and Latte Art Championship this weekend. It's usually for the elite baristas of the city, people who work on Slayer and La Marzocco machines, not." He gestured vaguely at her equipment, whatever this scrap metal is. He flicked the card onto the counter. "Come by. Watch the masters work. Maybe you'll learn something. I'll even waive the spectator fee for you. Consider it charity." He smirked, turned on his heel, and walked out, leaving the half-drunk, perfect courtier on the table. Maya picked up the card. She looked at the golden lettering. A small, nostalgic smile played on her lips. "Spectator," she whispered to herself. Right. Julian didn't know who he had just insulted. 10 years ago, the coffee world didn't look at Julian Thorne. They looked at Maya Williams. In the specialty coffee industry, she was a legend. At 22, she had competed in the World Latte Art Championship in Melbourne. While other competitors used etching tools to draw on their foam, Maya was a free pour purist. She used nothing but the pitcher, gravity, and physics. She was known for the inverted phoenix, a pour so difficult that many claimed it was impossible to do consistently. She had won the title, held the trophy, and then, she vanished. Her mother had gotten sick. The travel, the fame, the brand deals, none of it mattered when her mother needed care. Maya moved back home, took a job at the local shop to pay the bills, and stayed there. She found peace in the anonymity. She loved serving regulars who just wanted a warm cup, not a performance. But the fire never truly went out. It just simmered. That night, in her small apartment, Maya opened a dusty trunk at the foot of her bed. Inside, wrapped in velvet, was a milk pitcher. It wasn't standard steel. It was a customized, matte black pitcher with a specially modified spout for precision flow. She held it, feeling the weight. Learn something, she repeated Julian's words. She pulled out her phone and dialed the number on the back of the invite, but not the RSVP line. She called the organizer directly. Marcus? A confused voice answered. Yes? Who is this? It's Maya. The velvet hand. There was a long silence on the other end. Then, a gasp. Maya. My God, it's been 6 years. Is everything okay? Everything's fine, Marcus. I hear you have a slot open for the competition this weekend? Well, registration closed 2 weeks ago, but for you? I'd kick the Pope off the roster. Are you coming back? Just for one day, Maya said, her eyes hardening. I have a point to prove to a sponsor. The A Prestige Pour-Over and Latte Art Championship was held in a massive industrial loft downtown. It was the playground of the coffee elite. Exposed brick, Edison bulbs, and espresso machines that looked like they belonged in a Ferrari dealership. The crowd was a mix of hipsters, industry insiders, and wealthy investors like Julian. Julian sat at the judges' table, looking bored. He was the money behind the event, so he insisted on being a judge, despite having never pulled a shot in his life. Next competitor, the MC announced. A young man with a waxed mustache walked up. He spent 10 minutes explaining the pH level of his water. He poured a Rosetta. It was shaky. Julian gave him a 6 out of 10. Lack of symmetry, he barked into the microphone. Next. The competition dragged on. Julian was brutal. He insulted a girl for spilling a drop on the saucer. He laughed at a man who fumbled his milk steaming. He was enjoying the power. And now, the MC checked his clipboard, frowning slightly. A late entry. Please welcome. Maya Williams, representing the Daily Grind. Julian froze. He looked up from his scorecard. Maya walked onto the stage. She wasn't wearing the flashy branded gear the other competitors wore. She wore her simple black apron, a white t-shirt, and jeans. She looked small against the massive commercial machines. The crowd murmured. Who is she? Why is she here? Julian grabbed the microphone. A cruel smile spread across his face. Well, well. You actually came. I thought I invited you to watch, darling. Are you sure you want to do this? These machines are a bit more complex than the toaster oven you have at your shop. A few people in the VIP section laughed. Maya walked to the machine. She adjusted the grinder. She didn't look at the crowd. She looked at Julian. I'm here to compete, Mr. Thorne. Unless you're afraid. The crowd went silent. Julian's face reddened. Afraid? Of an amateur? Please. Proceed. You have 10 minutes to present your signature pour to the judges. Don't waste my time. The clock started. Maya moved. And suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. You can tell a professional by how they handle their tools. Maya didn't fumble. She flushed the group head. She ground the beans, a geisha variety she had brought herself. The aroma hit the front row instantly, jasmine, bergamot, and papaya. She didn't use the thermometer. She placed her hand against the pitcher. She knew the temperature by the vibration of the steel. 60 degrees. 65 degrees. Stop. She tapped the pitcher on the counter once. A sharp crack to knock out the large bubbles. The milk was like wet glass. She approached the judges' table. There were 3 judges. 2 certified sensory experts, and Julian. She placed a cup in front of the first judge. Then the second. Finally, she stood in front of Julian. You said my phone was stiff, Maya said, her voice amplified by the stage mics. You said I lacked refinement. She began to pour. The camera feed projected her hands onto the giant screen behind her. Usually, a barista pours a heart, or a tulip, or a rosetta. Maya started with a Rosetta base. The milk flowed, oscillating perfectly. Then, she stopped the flow, lifted the pitcher, and began to draw backward. She used the drag of the milk to create a neck. A head. Wings. She wasn't pouring a fern. She was pouring a Pegasus. The crowd gasped. This was technically impossible for most baristas. It required absolute control of flow rate and distance. But she wasn't done. With the remaining foam, she swirled the cup and poured a second design inside the negative space of the first. A small, perfect heart right in the chest of the Pegasus. She slammed the pitcher down. The design was high contrast, glossy, and impossibly detailed. It stared up at Julian. This, Maya said, is a free-pour Pegasus with a cardiac insert. It has not been performed in competition since the World Finals in Melbourne. The other two judges were on their feet. One of them, a legendary coffee critic named Sarah, looked at Maya with wide eyes. The velvet hand? Is that you? A ripple went through the crowd. People started whispering. Phones came out. A quick Google search. Maya Williams. World Champion. Julian stared at the cup. He looked at the perfect microfoam. Not a single bubble. The symmetry was mathematical perfection. He looked up at Maya. She wasn't the timid shop girl anymore. She was a titan. I believe, Maya said softly, leaning in so only Julian could hear, that this is serviceable? The room erupted. The applause was deafening. It wasn't just polite clapping, it was the roar of people witnessing greatness. Julian sat there, his face pale. He looked at his own scorecard. He had pre-filled a 4 before she even started. Sarah, the head judge, grabbed the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think we need to deliberate on the scores. We are in the presence of royalty. This is the highest technical score I have ever seen. She turned to Julian. Mr. Thorne? Your score. Julian swallowed hard. He looked at the crowd. He looked at the cameras streaming live to thousands of people. He looked at Maya, who stood with her arms crossed, waiting. If he gave her a low score, he would look like an idiot and a fraud. The art was objectively perfect. With a shaking hand, he picked up the digital scoring pad. 10. Unanimous, the MC screamed. Maya didn't smile. She just nodded. After the ceremony, Maya held the trophy, a golden tamper. Julian tried to slip away out the back exit, but Maya intercepted him near the loading dock. Mr. Thorne, she called out. Julian froze. He turned slowly. He looked deflated. His expensive suit suddenly looked like a costume. Look, Julian stammered. I didn't know. You didn't say who you were. I shouldn't have to, Maya said. You judged me based on the paint on my walls and the color of my skin. You assumed because I served $3 coffee in a poor neighborhood that I didn't know my craft. She stepped closer. Coffee is a science, Julian. It requires respect. For the bean, for the farmer, and for the barista. You have money, but you don't have respect. And that is why you will never truly taste a good cup of coffee. She handed him a card. It was the one he had thrown at her the day before. Keep your invite. And keep your charity. I'm donating the prize money to the local youth center. She turned to walk away, but paused. Oh, and Julian? Next time you order a cortado? Don't tell the barista how to tamp. You might be talking to a champion. The video of the Pegasus pour went viral. Millions of views. The title, Waitress Destroys Arrogant Billionaire at Coffee Competition. The daily grind didn't stay a quiet corner shop for long. Lines wrapped around the block. People came from all over the state just to watch Maya work. She didn't change the furniture. She didn't raise the prices. She just kept pouring love into every cup. As for Julian? He resigned from the board of the Coffee Association. The humiliation was too much. He still drinks coffee, but rumor has it, he uses a drive-thru now. He can't bear to look a barista in the eye. This story is a reminder to us all. Excellence is often found in the most humble places. Never underestimate someone because they don't fit your image of success. True talent speaks for itself, it doesn't need to shout. If you enjoyed this story of justice served hot, please like this video, it helps us beat the algorithm just like Maya beat Julian. And subscribe for more stories about hidden talents and instant karma. Tell us in the comments, have you ever been underestimated by someone? How did you prove them wrong? Until next time, stay grounded.